Alright, should be making a video, such, draft physics video presentation. It's just amazing how disturbing it is when something worked a certain way and it doesn't work that way anymore. It just breaks all your habits. The whole thing becomes this chaos, mush, broken. Can't even begin the video properly. Anyway, but I'll get over it. I'll endeavor to persevere. Yeah. And learn the new habit of having to trust the software. Anyway, comments. Yuck. Ugh, I don't even want to look at them yet. Anyway, yeah, this really isn't that complicated. I've pretty much demonstrated that the whole foundations of quantum mechanics, that is all the wooey crap, the Heisenberg, the wave theory, the probability waves, the wave functions, the whole idea of force interfering with force is nonsense. It's just wrong, incorrect answer, fail, and the truth was there for everybody to see. Even back in the young days, somebody could have done the experiment and said, hey, wait, there's more to the pattern than what you're explaining. And then even here in the 70s, the whole Bohm pilot wave version, they made a fancy documentary for him because, again, he was a bit of a philosopher, and so it has a whole wooey, everything's connected in the universe kind of crap, so they could make a religion out of it. And they'd make the standard claim, oh, it perfectly predicts the pattern. No, it doesn't. They're just doing this stupid double slit, Jungian two-wave double slit pattern that isn't the real double slit pattern. It has the two patterns. It doesn't explain the two patterns. It doesn't do any of that. And we say, oh, it's a perfect fit. It's no perfect fit at all. It's just mush. And everybody just keeps faking it. It doesn't even have to be that close, and it's good enough. And they'll call it precision, and they'll point out how they've calculated the mass of the electron to 17 decimal places or something. And they'll just keep saying crap like that, and it's not what they're saying it is. It's not as accurate. It's not at all accurate, actually. It isn't the same pattern. Electrons are different than protons, and they're different than forces, and all of that stuff. And, well, anyway, so I've demonstrated. I mean, the last 100 videos or so, I've just, the game's over. I have pulled the curtain back, and you can see the guy pulling the levers, and it's not what they say it is. Okay, this isn't. This isn't Oz. And, it's time for the rational and the reasonable to accept that physics hasn't been very disciplined in doing science. The physics has turned into a religion. It's just a phantasmagorical kind of orgy of let's make up the next silly crazy idea and just go forth every silly crazy idea. Well, you don't understand it, who cares? That's the fun part, not understanding. I mean, they've turned it into the nonsense is just endless. Their whole conversation is nonsensical and illogical. Wave particle duality. Oh, it's a particle when we say it is, and it's a wave when we say it is, or how it's useful. We'll just decide on its utility. We don't care about the truth. We just care about utility. You can screw the environment over if you want to just pretend. It's just about usefulness, and we don't care about what we do to the future, or you take away all the rational considerations. So anyway, I'm still offering $1,500 to any YouTube channel that has a credible number of subscribers that wishes to point out in some way how there is integrity to these foundational assumptions of physics. Bent space, a tiny bit of evidence. The evidence is horrible, actually. It's it's not even that it's a small amount, a small volume. It's just overtly bad, and so assumptive. The only thing Einstein's got going for him is the faked kind of Eddington experiment where they showed that light is bent by gravity, but they've never been able to repeat with better technology. So they've never confirmed any of this bending of light with any credible experiment. And then you got the lensing images from space, which are mathematically a nightmare and a mess. Give you every reason to say maybe it's something else. There's even overt, obvious flaws in some of them where you can say it's got to be a processing artifact, because something going this way, there'll be a duplicate of it going this way in the same image, and space doesn't make that happen. And then the rest of it relies on this. Just happens to be that radioactive decay is retarded by velocity, that atoms don't decay as fast if you're moving them fast, and so that has been used as some perfect evidence that somehow time changed, that the clock is in some environment that tells it that time is different somehow and that it must move slower. And that's all just assumption. That's, again, these are minor coincidences. You expect there's some coincidental correlations, when you're doing anything, that you'll now and then you'll get the right answer for the wrong reason. And physics doesn't seem to have any recognition that they could be being fooled by just a circumstance, just a coincidence. And then quantum mechanics, again, as stated, is all based on the analysis of the two-slit, on this idea of force interfering with force, that is, photons bang into photons and somehow creating superimposed photons that are interconnected and don't know where they are and jump, from universe to universe, or, approximate going everywhere and then decide to go one place. I mean, just silly explanations and interpretations of the experiment, and it can be simply diagrammed as just being the fact that photons can be broken and then you can reconstruct them. So it's destruction and reconstruction. There's no destructive interference. There's just the fact that impediments and obstacles and matter placed in the way will interact with the force and absorb it and deflect it. And but you can salvage it if you can put the bits back in phase, and that explanation works. It explains the experiment completely, and but I'm not hearing anything, from the critics. I'm not hearing anything from the believers in their religion. I've sort of showed how where the story came from. I'm showing where it was written and how it was written and why it was written and why it's wrong, why it's just a story, it's just made up, and there doesn't seem to be enough integrity in the scientific types to just concede the argument that I've made a counter argument that needs to be debunked or refuted, and they're not refuting it, even though I'm willing to pay them to attempt to do it. So anyway, it's just very disappointing. And the commenters can barely follow along, frankly. So it's just... So we'll do some of this crap. So this is a Ken Wheeler video, and a moron who says absolutely nothing, as all Ken Wheeler defenders will do. They can't argue any specifics because they can't even understand what Ken's saying. So he says close, yet still omitting the obvious. So this asshole thinks he knows something, and it's obvious. Yes, the aura apocalypse generates a lot of word salad. It's all word salad. It doesn't generate anything else. I mean, now, once in a while, he'll say something like pressure mediation, that the universe runs on that. But the next minute, he'll say it runs on hyperboloid scurviation. So it doesn't really matter that he once in a while says something that actually makes sense. Yet can never distill his attempt to show off vocabulary to a tangible application. So, how does this have anything to do with me? Frankly, sorry. It also doesn't help your position, as your presentation is merely pointing out the useless word salad while getting stoned. So, I mean, again, so Ken Wheeler can be tattooed, fat, have holes in his ears, all kinds of bullshit, and you don't comment on any of that, but you're worried about my hair, and my hair means I get stoned. Oh, okay. I mean, fuck you. Well, I should just critique you by your image and just say you're, wife beater, child molester, I don't know, creepy, thick-headed, for sure. I mean, fuck you. I mean, this is just so fucking stupid an argument. So you didn't refute anything. I mean, I clearly am not just refuting Ken Wheeler's word salad. I'm pointing out how there's no energy for all this swirly shit. Where'd the energy come from to create all these hyperberloids and toroids and all this other crap? All right, and how exactly does it make something attract and repel? I pointed out there's no mechanism here. There's no explanation at all. I mean, magnets don't, have eternal energy, and how they reach as far as they reach, all this swirly stuff, and yet we can't detect any swirly crap at all. No evidence of it whatsoever. So, and then I went into the whole ferrocell, which is in the picture, and I pointed out that the whole thing's a fake in terms of it's just an optical illusion. It's not even an illusion, frankly. It's just a misinterpretation of something easily understood as just refraction and diffraction. But fuck you. I mean, what useless garbage. I just block you, fucking asshole. Thank you for the explanation. Very interesting. On a slightly different subject. It's just like it's not slightly different. It's preposterously different. Have you given any thought to the Tic Tac UFO? So that's the new thing for, instead of cigars, now they call them Tic Tacs. Because they're shaped just like the fuselage of an airplane. Yeah, you don't see the wings sometimes, especially on enhanced infrared images. You're not going to see the wings. Wings are cold. The fuselage is hot. That were seen by the U.S. military pilots. So again, these released videos have already been debunked. I mean, thoroughly by many, even stupid old dumb old Thunderfoot did it. So it's already been explained that these stupid jet fighters, or the planes that take these images, are moving really fast and changing altitudes all over the place. Their camera perspectives are constantly changing. This is all just bullshit. Okay, apparently their flight performance characteristics were very impressive. They really aren't. And some of them are geese. I mean, birds. Oh, it's just so stupid. I mean, your people are just so desperate for some bigger story. That's all you want. You want a conspiracy. You want, all this wooey bullshit. If you don't want real unicorns, you want there to be a conspiracy to create unicorns. My question to you is, fuck you, given your understanding of physics, what would you choose as a propulsion system to allow such performance characteristics? So again, you didn't tell me what these performance characteristics are. You didn't prove they even exist as real things. That again, you haven't been fooled by circumstances. All right. And but yes, there's no magical energy sources. Velocity has to come by you separating forces, and that's going to cost you. It's going to, to push the ping pong ping pong paddles can create more energy, right? I have two paddles and I have a ball bouncing between them. It can create more energy if I put the two paddles really close together. But guess what? I need a whole bunch of energy to push the paddles closer together. There's no free lunches. Thank you. Well, I mean, there are free lunches in the sense that the universe has already smushed a bunch of paddles together, in the sense that it's crushed a bunch of material objects into other material objects. And so, yes, you can break atoms, okay, and you'll get a bunch of energy out of them, a bunch of movement. Here is one of the many videos on Tic Tac. Not interested, thank you. Yuck. Alright, so then Physics Novice responds with a whole bunch of stuff on a whole bunch of unrelated subjects, mostly, I mean, good, basic physics videos. But I really don't know what the hell he was saying. Let's see, the videos are either fake or someone had some resources to do enough trolling. Well, with laws of fixed force-bit speeds or even mainstream science, aliens are unlikely. Well, regardless of whether there's aliens, yeah, you can't, you're not going to defeat the fundamental force laws. And that is, you're not likely to be able to create tractor beams or some way of, changing your position in space without going through the process of acceleration to do it. Okay, this isn't some stupid interstellar movie, where you can move between huge difference variations of gravity without going through any acceleration, without getting smashed to pieces. It's not fake. The real world is real. It's not a fake little movie. Anyway, Smartwell, I've seen your channel some months ago due to my bulging disc. I recommend you watch all the different current DraftScience, blah blah blah. Okay. So I don't know what his channel has on it. I didn't see his channel as anything, but let's see what it is. So far, so bad. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't get what he was saying there. Alright, anyway, moving on. Let's see. This portion of the Lex interview is quite informative regarding the Tic Tac characteristics. So we're just going to talk more about bullshit. I'm not convinced there's anything alien involved. In fact, I think it's our technology. So they're just implying that we have special, super, fantastic technology that we're hiding. I hope you have found relief regarding your disc injury, blah blah blah. I haven't seen this video, so I'll take a look. Thanks. Regarding the injury, okay, well, we don't need to know all that. That's certainly a fitting username. So this is just a troll, probably a one-day-old account, and fuck it. We'll just block that. Alright. Atmospheric pressure and total solar iridescence dictates temperature, not gas composition. So, I mean, he's just denying the greenhouse effect, and we know it's a real thing. You can build a greenhouse and experience the greenhouse effect. So whether it's a gas or a sheet of plastic, it doesn't matter. We know that chemistry, creates these kinds of layers in the atmosphere, and they're effectively the same thing. We know the magnetic field is deflecting radiation. We know that stuff happens, and so you're just a truther kook, just playing this stupid moronic game. So anyway, this model works for all rocky bodies. So he says this model. There's no model. Yes, obviously the planets will be warmer based on how close they are to the sun, but that's not the only thing dictating how warm they are. Okay, it's just not. I mean, the more gravity they're experiencing, the warmer they're going to be also. With a tangible atmosphere in the solar system within 1 degree, so again, more whatever that could possibly mean, Mercury's really hot on one side and really cold on the other side. So's the moon. Okay, things with no atmosphere are hot and cold. They haven't got any balanced temperature. They don't have any mechanism for retaining heat. So this really only can be a conversation about objects that have mean temperatures, that have averages that don't range very far. Okay, the Earth doesn't have those huge extremes. greenhouse gas theory and anthropological, I don't know what that's for, global warming is all political bullshit. So what's the politics exactly? I mean, what is the advantage in bringing up this problem? I mean, what's the political use or the chicanery use or the fake use? They just happen to hate oil companies for no good reason. They hate that oil is hugely, tremendous amount of energy you can get out of it in coal. They just hate coal for the hell of it. The fact that it's this nice, cheap energy source and they just don't want us to use it for some crazy reason. I mean, you're just so fucking stupid. Okay, invented by whatever this eugenicist banking elite. So you're just such a fucking nut. Go crawl up Alex Jones's scurvy, cruddy butthole. You fucking idiot. You're just wasting your brain, Just wasting it. Complete waste. You're just seeking nonsense. You're seeking validation of your political agenda. You're the one with the agenda. You're the one who doesn't give a fuck about the facts. And the fact of the greenhouse effect is so fucking proven by so many experiments. You're just a fucking idiot to be in this denial mode. Ugh. Oh, shouldn't have done that yet, I guess. Ditch those crabby, bloated Linux distros. That would be fine if there was some simple distro that just did everything, but they don't do everything all that fucking well. Alright, and install Arch, which isn't even, this is another project to get it up and running with just the shit you need. Well, the problem is some of the shit I need you can't run. Okay, so, but whatever. We'll see. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks. Not really enough information. And fuck you because you're a truther loony anyway. Alright, this guy. Yeah, you're typing a bunch of crossed out text. You've obviously, to blame, the world. Like somehow you didn't do something to create this. Of course you did something. Where does the force and matter and the energy come from in the first place? Who the fuck cares? It's not a reasonable question. We don't have any way of knowing. It's billions of years ago happening at an event. And you think we can just stick we'll just look through our magical mirror and see the truth. No, it's really a hard problem because, there's no videotape machines. Nobody could write it down. Nobody took, notes. There's just absolutely nothing to go by. And the answer is not going to be, well, God poofed it, because who poofed God? Then you got the same problem. You still didn't answer the question. So fuck it. It's useless. It's useless information, frankly. We know we exist in a universe that does stuff, and it's doing it right in front of us. So why am I worried about why is it doing it? What I want to do is change how it does it. But most importantly, why? Fuck you. Did it come to be? How and when? So you think those are the important questions, whether, and I would argue that the only important questions is what do we do with it now that it's here? Okay, who cares where the tsunami came from or what caused it or all this other bullshit? The wave is coming and you got to deal with it. We're in the shit. We have to fix it. Okay, and is that, whatever your answer be, not as big a woo as the implicate order? I don't know what that means. Again, it'll all be woo if somebody's going to tell you what started the universe. They're making it up because there's just no trail. There's no evidence trail to follow. Not even close to one. So, yeah, not even close to getting that answer. And I would still argue it's going to be a stupid answer of no fucking value. Again, what value does it have to anybody to know what rock banged against another rock to create the earthquake that creates a tsunami that's coming right towards your house? What the fuck? Who cares what rock did it? Okay. As gene expression, fuck you, as remote viewing, etc., whatever this crap is. And why do you have a problem with woo? Because it's fucking anti-intelligent. It's illogical. It's just breaks anybody's capacity to deal with the fact that there's a tsunami coming and we're not supposed to be just sitting here playing the violin. Fuck, in the first place. The very notion of a whatever this is, tape recorder was high woo 300 years ago. Well, not really. It's quite an imaginable thing, just as you can write on a piece of bark and retain it. It's not that difficult to imagine that you could trap sound somehow. You know, so a sound trap isn't all that, wow, you know, that's too impossible. People heard echoes, you know, they could yodel and shit. So they already had the idea that, you know, you could fix sound and keep it, store it somewhere. You know, and recreate it. The idea that you would, you know, make a sound at something and it was had moving parts and it would record the sound. It's hardly a woo. It hardly requires you to have unicorns and gods and gingerbread worlds. Okay. The pilot gremlins would be mainstream by now, whatever all this crap means. Okay, could you people write something a little more coherent? I really don't even understand what your fucking narrative is here. Okay, if that piece of shit Oppenheimer, you know, what use is this? If that piece of shit Oppenheimer, I mean, what's the point of this? You think he just did everything. It wasn't the fact that all the other people who followed him or believed him. So again, it's all about Hitler. It's not about the assholes who just wanted to hear about how, you know, Jews have horns and shit. Oh, fuck. And my shitty fellow Dane Nels Bohr hadn't fucked him over. Whatever. I mean, yes, they're not, in my opinion, the best of physics. And as far as I'm concerned, all these assholes, DeGrab, D. Tyson, whatever, Lawrence, oh, so he's just going to call people funny names. Well, that's just a waste of time. Sorry for the strange cross-out. I don't think you are, because you've made it happen, frankly. I don't know why YouTube does it. I don't think YouTube did it. Okay? And thanks for answering my questions, I guess. Good luck with your hard disk issue. They say computers will make our life easy. By the way, well, it does make some parts easy. There's no doubt about it. The atom has been remote viewed. It really hasn't, so that's just another fantasy. They're synthesized views. They aren't real views. And it could be worthwhile to hack out the session, whatever I mean. I will urge you to study Eric Weinstein. Why would I do that? I mean, Weinstein. He doesn't know shit about physics, frankly. I mean, his idea is so insane, even other physicists can't make any sense out of it. I mean, it's so deep in the fucking bullshit, Einstein bullshit. As well as a few findings of Stephen Wolfram. I mean, oh man, this is such generic shit. I mean, it's just such hype. Two completely hyped theories that don't unify anything. They claim to make some sort of sense somewhere, and they're worse than string theories. They're based on nothing real, nothing. It's all based on wooey magic, dark, invisible woo forces. Ugh. So fuck you for that. And if you really want to know about magnets, read, I don't even know what that is, Bokowicz. Okay, so I'll go find that and make fun of it later. But you know what? Fuck you, really. Not really interested, as I've pointed out. So, what to do? We'll just remove it for now, but next time. Here's another piece of shit. He's the guy who sent me the Bonham link. Oh, yeah, so he probably has pushed enough of my buttons for me to say fuck you. Alright, that's all that one. So this is the only one I think left. Um, Thanks for covering the concepts in the video. Your explanation of time being okay. So I think we're done. Thankfully, but really quite useless comments. Just sorry, just way under interested. I mean, most of the videos have been on the two-slit experiment, the fact that I've completely debunked any notion that you need any kind of wave theory to explain them. They have nothing to do with waves, just like all of Maxwell's math has nothing to do with waves, just as their wave equation doesn't have any fucking waves in it. I mean, it's all straight line vectors, all the forces, that's all they are. It's, you know, and, well, I didn't need to close that. Force, matter, interaction. The force interacts with the matter moves. The matter has no will of its own. It just does whatever the force tells it. So whatever force fields you are in, that will decide which way you are going to go. The force just pushes the matter around, and when the matter is in a different place, it means the force is going to reflect from a different place. If I'm moving towards you, I'm really visible because I'm reflecting a whole bunch of light much quicker. I move away from you, I reflect less light, I get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, theoretically, until I become invisible. That's all that's going on in the universe, and it's just that the force and matter relationship is a little complicated in that protons and electrons have an inverse relationship to the forces, and that's why you have two kinds of force, two kinds of matter, and two kinds of interaction, and that's all there is, and it's really simple. And yeah, but apparently there's just no point in explaining it because there's nobody with a brain capable of doing this 2 + 2 + 2 thing. It's just beyond your reach, apparently. So, yeah. Yeah, so there's not much else I can do. You know, I continue to make videos pointing out how under-evidenced all of the conventional woo and crap is, and how terribly dishonest most of the videos on physics are. And I'll keep attempting to reason with you that the rational choice is this simple understanding that there's stuff moving the speed of light, that's force, and that there's matter, electrons and protons, and you don't need any of the other stuff, positrons and neutrinos and muons and all the other crap. You don't need any of that shit. Just superfluous. You can move matter quickly. You move an electron quicker and quicker, and it does different things, and you can call it something else because it's being moved, but it's being moved by some real force, a real X-ray pushing the matter along, so to speak. And that's all there is. There's just nothing else going on here. Anyway. Yeah, enough of the video. Yeah, I hate this job lately. It's just irritating that I really have just completely debunked the two-slit experiment. Their foundational cornerstone experiment, their excuse for all of the crap they have made up in the last 100 years in terms of all this quantum mechanic entanglement superposition horse shit. It's debunked. It's done. It's cooked. And I'm sitting there saying nobody's paying any attention. I mean, I can't get one rational, I can't even get a mediocre, I can't get any kind of relevant comment on the fact that that's what I have accomplished. And it's, you know, it's done. We have to start over. Smart person has to say, well, yeah, I have to give up that crap. All those silly interpretations, Copenhagen mini world, all that stuff goes away because it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's a simple mechanical function. Photon goes towards a slit. If it hits near the surface, it gets affected by electrons. The electrons scatter the photons into pieces, and you can reconstruct the pieces in some other location where they're back in phase again. That's all. Simple answer. No bullshit needed. So anyway, till the next time and such. Meh.